This is Witnet Sprint Review number 41. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for everyone who joined the Witnet community recently. For the newcomers, these meetings are held every 2 weeks, and we do this review of the work that has been done in the community and in all the Witnet environments. And with the idea of giving you a glimpse of what's being worked on, what are the problems that we are finding, and what are coming next. So this time we will be first speaking about community and outreach, and then we will give an update about development. So Thomas?
Yeah, so a lot of the focus this sprint was around phase 2 node operation. Obviously, everybody that's been involved with that knows there's a lot happening these last few weeks, and troubleshooting and answering questions around node operation. We've also locked in an interview with Blockchain Brad, a popular YouTuber, a crypto YouTuber, who's will be running an interview with Adan in the coming weeks. Once we've released that, we'll share it with the community. We have adoption outreach. So we have been speaking to numerous projects over the last few weeks. That's really picked up again. And we are basically projects looking for an Oracle solution. If you know of anyone, please do put us in touch. Yeah, it would be great to continue to talk to lots of interested projects. We also have Dr. CPU's Witnet Block Explorer has started development. So the foundations for that are being put down right now. If you'd like to help out with that, reach out to him on Telegram or to me at Thomas Witnet, and I'll put you in touch. So retrospective from the last few weeks. So Witnet Testnet 9.0b. Was launched with a peak of estimated 35,000 nodes before the network forked. You can read an article that we released, which goes into more detail of why this happened and kind of the next steps as well. So the first 1,945 blocks during the phase 2 block counting period were mined by 1,848 nodes. So these will go towards the mainnet WIT token allocations that will happen when we release, when we move to mainnet. It's worth noting that it's based on percentage rather than number of blocks mined. So for example, if someone mines 0.3% of all the blocks that are counted during the block counting period, then they will get 0.3% of all the WIT allocation that is allocated for the phase. 9.0c is live. Testnet 9.0c is live, but currently the blocks in 9.0c will not be part of the block counting period, so they will not be rewarded with mainnet tokens. Again, we explain why in the article that's linked, why this is the case. But yeah, they will not be counted at this point. So looking ahead, in the next sprint, block counting will recommence when we release Testnet 9.1. So date will be announced in the next week. We're looking at that. Yeah, we'll probably release the date at the start of next week. We're also looking at a KYC process. This a lot of the issues that we faced obviously could be helped with a KYC process, as well as being able to understand who's running which nodes and make sure that everybody gets through that process as quickly as possible. So keep an eye on your inboxes, and we'll be sending out an email in the next week or so with information on how to do your KYC. We're also going to be launching contributions. So obviously node operation has taken the forefront over the last few weeks. However, the contributions now is pretty much ready to go. I'll be giving a demo at the end of this sprint review, kind of going over the details, and then next week we'll also be sending out an email with instructions. And we'll also be restarting the phase 2, the meme competition. So every 2 weeks at the sprint reviews, we'll be giving an award to a phase 2er or not phase 2er. We'll also can participate, but we'll be giving, if a phase 2 wins, then we will be giving 700 WIT prize for every winner, every sprint.
Regarding development, the goals for this sprint were in the area of Node, releasing the Testnet 9 and start counting blocks, giving priority to different kind of transactions and putting them in blocks depending on how much are they paying compared with their weight. And then using a random user agent for data source retrievals. Luis will explain all this part next. In the Sheikah area, complete the data request visual editor that we demoed last sprint review. You can go to the video of sprint review number 14 for the demo. It was really nice. And in other aspects of the project, we needed to fix deadlock when closing wallet. It was yeah, so that the wallet actually closed when you close the Sheikah frontend, let's say. So testnet 0.9 A and B, as Thomas explained, was successfully launched last Friday, and the block counting went for roughly 24 hours. And then at some point, there was this situation in which there were many nodes running in the same devices. And when this happens, basically, if some expensive computation needs to be made, the nodes find it really hard to cope with having to share the CPU, basically, and they will not process the messages and all the things related to the protocol in a timely manner. And this can cause that node or the same nodes that are running the same machine to basically go down, to desynchronize from the rest of the network. And if that node has very broad connectivity to the rest of the network, it can bring down many of those nodes too, and cause, let's say, some chain reaction that leaves the network in a bad position. So right now we are implementing changes for that not to happen ever again. And in the meantime, we have released this 9.0C network that is live right now. You can join, but as Thomas said, there's no block counting. The blocks that you mine in that new network will not be rewarded with mainnet tokens as per the incentivized testnet program. But then we will release this testnet 9.1, which will be the one that will resume the block counting, and that will come in the next weeks. We will be able to give you a more accurate estimate. We hope next week, early next week, we will update you with the plans and what this release will look like, with upgrading instructions and so on.
Well, our goal for this sprint in Sheikah was improve Sheikah's general usability, and according to that, we have done several improvements. Until now, when you run Sheikah from its bundle, it started a wallet instance, and if you close Sheikah, the wallet continues running in the background. These have been solved using the shutdown method of the wallet before close Sheikah. On the other hand, now Sheikah also handles correctly the wallet session expiration. Sheikah checks if the session lasts and redirects to the wallet list to unlock your wallet again and continue using it. We also have added some tooltips to the actions in order to facilitate the user to understand the behavior of the different actions they are using. And the behavior of the sidebar have been changed. Now, don't move the content the sidebar don't move the content next to it and have a stronger visual presence. During this sprint, we also improved the data request editor, automatically coding dry data requests while the user is composing a data request and showing the result of the source even if no operator was applied. And finally, we implement a feature in the Witnet Cradle.js library to be able to generate Cradle JavaScript code compatible with the Witness Travel box, but we haven't added it as a feature of the data request editor yet, and will be available in the next sprint.
Okay, in the note, the main goal of this sprint has been to release the Testnet 9, and with the issues that Adan explained before, we had to release the 3 of them. Now, the Testnet 9C is live, and also you can test it from Ethereum part. The smart contracts are deployed on Rinkebyte and Goerli. So if you want to use it, you can check it. So also we have implemented the transaction wave and the maximum limit for the block. It was thinking to spend around 70 gigas for a year in case of full blocks. And we also implemented a way to prioritize the transactions, but it will be included in the next testnet. In Docker, now the node can restart automatically when crashing. And also we add the random user agents for data source retrievals to enforce that a web server cannot differentiate a Witnet retrieval from another normal retrieval. We include the active reputation set merkleization in superblocks for breach requirements that we explained in another sprint reviews. And we have also a new CLI method to be used for the scoreboard of the phase 2 that lists the blocks mined with the miner addresses and also resume how many blocks have been mined by each address. And finally, we have under review several fixes about bucketing and period due to the issues that we've seen on the testnet 9, and also a CLI method to include the new peers.
Regarding the sprint summary and our efforts, so we targeted 175 story points, and we completed surprisingly a good fraction of those. Mainly, we can see that the development effort was pretty good until we actually found testnet issues, which we had to analyze and do a postmortem. And then when we retook the sprint, let's say, we were able to complete plenty of those in the last part of the sprint. We only have 23 in the backlog. 13 of those 175 are also in progress, and 8 of them are under review, which are waiting to be merged. As I already said, the impediments, the clear impediment was that the fork that happened on the testnet we released, and yeah, the postmortem analysis that we had to do, and the new releases that we also had to do this week. And also, of course, related to this, the Contabo servers that actually caused the fork.
Okay, it's time for the demo. As Thomas said, he will be showing how the flow is going to be like for the contributions in this phase 2. How are we tracking who's working on what? So I think I need to hand over the screen. Okay, let me stop my share. Okay, Thomas, you can share now.
Great. Great. So we'll probably be putting this all into one web page so that the flow is very clear for everyone. I'll be doing that next week. But essentially, the first thing that we'll be looking at is the contribution board. So this is a Trello board for any of those who know it or don't know it. So this is essentially a Kanban board for all of the issues that the community will put forward in the coming months. Will be put on here. All of our suggested contributions that are needed within the community. However, there are also options to make contributions that aren't on here. You can make proposal but these are the ones that are set. So if we, for example, if we go to show menu here, we can see a number of different labels. So say I am someone that is a technical person interested in technical tasks. I can click here, and this will bring up all of the tasks that are available for people that want to do technical tasks. So as you can see here, being prepared, these are still being negotiated, kind of figuring out what needs to be done, and setting an allocation. Then repeating tasks, this will be things that are ongoing, things like the meme competition and any other tasks that will happen over and over again. Open for application, these are the ones that obviously you'll be are open to application. So anybody that within phase 2 that wishes to complete any of these tasks, I'll show you how to do that now. So if we take, for example, the first issue, you can see this is a GitHub issue. It's to return address of identity that claimed a data request. So you can see here are full instructions for how to complete the task. So to receive WIT allocated WIT or die, the assignee must resolve the issue, which is on GitHub here. So obviously you'll need to know how to use GitHub, but essentially you would go through the process of solving the issue and getting it merged into Witnet's code base. If you wish to take on this task, you would have to, in this case, paste your Witnet ID and your GitHub username into the bottom here. So as you can see, I've already put it in here. So all you need to do is do that. At that point, we will review it and assign you to the task. As you can see, a notification has come up here. And the assignment for this one, for example, would be on a first come, first serve basis. However, if the original assignee, if you do not complete this task within a set number of days, the issue could be reassigned to the next commenter. So if you've already seen someone has been assigned to this, but you're still interested in taking the task, just stick your name in. And if the first assignee doesn't do it in time, then it will be passed on to you. Once you've completed the task, you would click here to fill in the submission form. So I'll bring this up. So here we go. Move this. So you click start, put in your Witnet ID, which I can find here. Put your Telegram name in. You have one. So this one has a Trello card. Some cases it might not have a Trello card, the task that you've completed. So in this case it does. So put the address of the Trello card in. Here it is. And you read through this. So provide links, relevant proof that the task has been completed. So in this case, we would get it from the issue itself. Once it's been completed, we put it in here. And great. So your submission will have been recorded. We will review them every 2 weeks, every 14 days, probably before the sprint, but that's yet to be decided. And obviously, if it's a particularly busy time, it might take a bit longer than that. Once it's been reviewed, it will be moved to, the task will be moved to review and then to waiting allocation. So every 2 weeks, we will also give allocations for all of the tasks that have been successfully completed. So once a task has been successfully allocated, it will be passed on to the contributions board, which I will bring up now. So here's the contribution scoreboard. As you can see, everybody's Witnet IDs are linked to the amount of total WIT allocated for each person's ID. So if we search for my ID. Here it is. I've already put 400 wit on there. Yeah, so you can see the breakdown of all the different types of tasks. We will also be adding mining allocations in once it's been set up. But in the meantime, it's just for contributions made via the board or via other general tasks that have been completed. There are also instructions here that follow all of that, all of the process that we've just been through. Yeah, so that's it.
So it's time for questions and answers. Okay, let's see. Please, if someone has any question, feel free to drop them in the chat in YouTube so that we can address as many as possible now. So Jaroslav is asking whether we managed to at least partially mitigate nodes problem in the last testnet. So if by the last testnet you mean the one that is live right now, there were some minor changes made, but basically if we onboard the same level of nodes and the same type of nodes, so nodes that are actually running on the same device or on the same hardware, we would basically end up in the same situation. The changes for that not to happen again will take some time. Some of them will be addressed next week and will be ready as soon as possible. And some others will take more time, as we also need to gather more feedback on whether some proposals make sense or not. Also, we sometimes find that there are multiple options, multiple changes that can be made for solving a single problem, but they cannot be made at the same time. They're not compatible. So we need to think which one we want to try first, put that into a testnet, see how it works, and then if it doesn't work, try plan B or vice versa, okay? So it's a thing that will take some time. We will keep you updated. Make sure that everyone make sure that if you want to be aware of the day-by-day, let's say, operations and how the development goes and what are the discussions and so on, please stay tuned to the GitHub issues, the pull requests, and also the discussions that are always going on Discord. I think there's a question for, this one is for Tomasz, about the add peer method. Is it intended to manually add a peer you can trust?
Well, yeah, it's intended to be a replacement for the Witnet Tome, where you can specify peers right now, so that you don't have to restart the node to add more peers.
Okay, so it has basically the same behavior as when you enter IPs or addresses in the Witnet Tome, right? Okay. Igor is asking about how do we evaluate tasks in WIT tokens?
Yeah, so I can take that. So obviously, with GitHub issues, it should be a little easier to estimate amount of time that an issue might take. So then, based on the amount of time that an issue might take, we can allocate according to we can allocate according to that. Obviously, if there's a task that is taking a lot longer than we expected, we can discuss with whoever takes on the task and try and figure out whether the allocated amount needs to be edited at all. but generally, we're trying to keep the numbers round, and if a task is not being completed because because the allocation is too low, we can up the allocation, especially if it's an urgent one.
Okay, it looks like those are the questions for today. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask in the Telegram group or on Discord, and you can be sure that many people will be happy to answer. And now the part that you love the most about the sprint reviews, the memes.
That's the best. Contado.
Oh my God. So thank you, everyone. Again, welcome everyone, anyone who joined the community recently. Thanks for watching. We hope that we can resume the block counting soon, and that we keep improving the software. Thanks for pushing the limits of the software in the way that you are doing. This is actually super useful. And that's the whole point of this incentivized testnet program, basically proving some assumptions, verifying what does work, what doesn't, and yeah, things are moving super fast. All the devs and everyone in the community is doing their best to move the project closer and closer to mainnet. So everything is looking great. Keep on the great work, and see you in the next sprint. In the meantime, as we said, happy to answer further questions in any of the community channels, and have a nice weekend, everyone.